All right, we are live, tapping Birdie with the world famous Andy Lack. If Chris Solomon and Bill Simmons had a child, it would be Andy Lack. So happy to be joined by you tonight. How you doing, bud?
Oh, hitting me right off the bat with the bud, capital B, no Y at the end, just to keep me on my toes for our golf match tomorrow. Yeah, I'm doing great, man. These weeks, I'm always so appreciative of, all the people that check out my stuff because I'm a pretty busy guy over the course of these first 3 days. So I'm a little tired. I'm pretty much just ready for the tournament to start at this point. But no, I'm feeling good. How's your Tuesday of open week treating you?
It's been harrowing. It's been absolutely cracking, as we would say. So much great content out there, just ripe with storylines this week. This is, maybe the most consequential, famous Open Championship that we've seen in quite some time. And I think it's really funny because I vividly remember after the last year's Open Championship, everyone was like, it will be, 250 days until the next major championship at Augusta. And I was like, oh my God, that seems so far away. And it's just like, oh, wait, like we're doing that right again. Like the season just absolutely flew by.
100%. Yeah, I mean, we've got some okay events down the stretch, but yeah, I remember that too. I remember I tweeted way too early major predictions like the day after the Open Championship
Yeah.
ended. You remember that? That was
I
like that
think
was
Paul
still
Casey was one of them.
Yeah, I think I picked Paul Casey at St. Andrews.
Well, I think that is an absolutely smashing play. I mean, that's a top tip, 100%. That seemed to have turned out pretty well. I think you can be confident going into that one here.
Yeah, leverage. Ever heard of it, bro? Yeah, he'll be 4 or 5% on DraftKings. So we'll see how Casey turns out this week. But yeah, man, I'm fired up. I'm ready to go, man. Would you say this is your favorite major of the year? Least favorite major in the year? Where would you rank it?
No, I would say Masters is 1 for me, and then I'll
Okay.
go US Open 2, and then Open Championship 3, PGA Championship fourth. But everyone has their own. That's maybe a little more. No, it's not a hipster answer. Hipster answer would be. I think the hipster
Open
answer would
one.
be Open Championship favorite, right?
100%. You know that's my favorite major.
Yeah, I mean, you're a hipster. I mean, everyone knows this. You're kind of like the edgy, intellectual golf fan out there. So, of course, I mean, this is a big week. This is a big content week. We're content guys. Hashtag content, bro. So these are big weeks for us. People like to ask us to come on their pod, write stuff for them. So it's always a little bit added pressure to have some good picks. Give out a winner. You already hit your major winner of the year, JT wire-to-wire victory at the PGA Champion. Just a dominant performance for 72 holes. So, I mean, you're hitting two out of four this year, 100%, right?
Yeah, I hope so, man. I don't know if we have any similarities on our betting cards this week.
Absolutely not. We do not have any sort of similarity. But we'll get into that. So before we get into all the hoopla of the Open Championship, who we're playing, who we're fading, me yelling at Andy yelling at me, saying erroneous a bunch of times, maybe talk some shit before our match tomorrow. Got to thank our sponsor, BetSperts Golf. I got money in the DraftKings account. I'm the Showdown King. Everyone knows this. So I was just using their optimizer. I was making my lineups for this week. They're putting out great content every single week. So go check them out. If you're watching on YouTube, like and sub, smash that like button as always. And they're doing a 1 month thing, $1 a month. Do that. Check it out. Love BetSperts. They're a great sponsor. So go check them out. It would mean the world to me. It would mean more than you would know, as you would say, Andy.
Yeah, make sure to leave your favorite 6K play in the comment section as well. You forgot
That's
that
good.
one.
That's another one. Maybe comment or something. Retweet. These are just kind of what we're doing this week. So it's Open Championship week. We're at St. Andrews. There's been a chasm, or I don't know what the word is, in golf. Everything's fractured. There's so many storylines. Tiger's back after missing the U.S. Open. This is, do you think this major will live up to the hype that it seems to be having at the moment? Because it seems like a very big deal. It seems like a very big major.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that there's so many, the reason why I think people feel that way is because there's so many different things that could happen that would be downright ridiculous, right? What if Tiger contends? What if one of the live guys is in the mix? What if Spieth is in the mix? What if Rory's in the mix? What if Phil's in the mix, right? There's so many different ways where this tournament can go. And of course, that probably means that like Cameron Tringale is going to end up being the guy at the end. But I think the excitement is warranted. I think that a lot of the content that I've consumed this week from the people that are actually at St. Andrews or have been to St. Andrews is that this place is just kind of different. And there's something romantic about it and something magical about it that I have never experienced for myself firsthand. I recorded a podcast with Kobe a couple hours ago, who was there a month ago. And I think the combination of all the stuff going on with Liv, Tiger, Rory in great form, Spieth in great form, all culminating at what many to believe to be the greatest golf course on the planet. I think it's warranted. I think the excitement is warranted, my friend.
I really don't think you could script it any better. And, I was listening to the No Laying Up podcast before, and they kind of pointed out, Randy, of course, he's like, kind of the blip on this course and this event is that the last two winners of this event have been pretty inconsequential. We have Zach Johnson winning in a playoff over Louis and like an unknown Mark Leishman at the time. And then 10 years ago, or 12 years ago, you have Louis Oosthuizen, who was a complete unknown, who missed the cut in like his first 7 majors, win by 7 strokes in a completely undramatic fashion. And then we have Tiger winning by a bunch of strokes the prior 2 years. So, I like you said about Cam Tringale winning, I think he might have blew his load last week, but there might be a chance that someone completely random just runs away with this tournament and all of the previews and all of the hype and all of the storylines just completely fall flat, because that's kind of what we've seen here over the past 2 iterations of the Open Championship at St. Andrews.
Yeah, his name is Dylan Fratelli. I mean, I agree with you in the sense that this is a golf course that I think a lot of guys are in play at. We go to U.S. Opens and we talk about how at a golf course like Bethpage, only so many guys can really win, right? Same with Torrey Pines. It's kind of a long iron fest and a test of execution. Hey, can you execute this shot? Hit a 220-yard high draw with a 4-iron over and over and over again. And there's only a few players in the world that can actually do that on command. St. Andrews is a lot different, right? I mean, I've been on this whole distance really doesn't matter at all thing all week. But, I mean, truly, there are a lot of different styles of play that can win here. And if Kevin Kisner is on top of the leaderboard on Thursday afternoon, I don't think I'd be shocked if Wyndham Clark's on top of the leaderboard on Thursday afternoon. I don't think I'd be shocked either, which I think is what makes it so much fun, right?
No, exactly. And like you pointed out, I think that the course sets itself up for a lot of people. So before we get into the odds, before we get into the DraftKings prices, before we get into kind of our hashtag picks for the week, I just kind of want to ask you a few questions about this course, about this event. So first off, what do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions you've seen about this course out there this week? Because I was watching some Golf Digest did a flyover of it. This guy, Random Golf Club, he played every hole at it. And it's like, you look at the flyovers and it's just like, yeah, it's kind of open fairways. You could bomb away. But there are just so many bunkers that it seems everything funnels to them. So, and you look at the last 2 winners here, Zach Johnson was one of the most accurate drivers. And Louis in 2010 was just hitting every single fairway. I think he hit his first bunker on the 14th hole on Sunday. So do you kind of think that you can just bomb away here? What are some of the kind of the misconceptions that there might be out there?
Look at you bringing up ground contours. Yeah, I agree in the sense that I think the biggest misconception is that players are going to hit driver a lot here. I actually don't think that you're going to see as many drivers. I think some people are going to do it. I think some of the maybe the less smarter players are going to do it. But I think, like, I was listening to JT was talking to Bones today, the St. Andrews YouTube channel, by the way, 10 out of, or open YouTube channel, 10 out of 10. They've had great content all day, but they were talking about, hey, we're maybe going to take one of our woods out of the bag and add another wedge to it. And I think the reason for that is that this course is extremely brown and firmed out. And it wasn't that way in 2015, by the way. It wasn't that way in 2010. It really wasn't that way in 2005 either. But there has been a concerted effort from the R&A, understandably so, because you could probably look at this Open as an inflection point between the meeting of the birthplace of golf and modern technology. And if those two things can continue to interact in the future, which, by the way, it's in the R&A's best interest for them to be able to continue to go here, right? So I don't think the R&A is going to go down without a fight. I think that this course is going to be pretty fiery. I think what fiery means is, yes, it's going to play short, but you're going to see these fairways that everyone talks about are so wide play a lot less wide, because then I can go through a hole by hole and stuff like that. But there are certain holes, for example, 13 is a hole where if you hit driver, you're basically, the fairway is this tiny little sliver at 350 yards. And if you hit it too far, you're running into a coffin bunker. And if you hit it too short on the other side, you're running into thick gorse, right? So what I think the firm conditions are really going to do is it's going to take a lot of driver out of people's hands, and it's going to place a much greater emphasis on strategic golf, we'll say, off the tee at least.
Yeah, because you talked about, these courses so dry that these guys are getting 20 to 30 yards of run on their shots. So, unless you're talking about 18, I don't know every single hole, but 18 is very wide open. You could just drive it right on up there. Some guys probably even reach it with 3-wood. These guys can lay back on tee and be a little more accurate and still be hitting their, 3-wood 20 to 30 yards further than they normally would, because it is playing so firm and fast. But yeah, just kind of looking at the holes, I really don't think you could just bomb away aimlessly, kind of given the bunkering of the course. So I think that's something that is important to look at. But when we talk about, major championships, usually it's a lot of long, difficult golf courses where, there are some 500-yard par fours, and these guys are hitting some very long irons into the greens, and they're difficult to hold. It's not really like that this week, which I think is very interesting, where actually there's a bigger emphasis on wedge play and play inside 150 yards, because, again, this course is so short and these fairways are so firm that there's going to be so much run out. And, all it takes is to look at, the 2015 champion in Zach Johnson to show that, wedges are going to be extremely important this week inside 150 yards on approach shots, but also just creativity around the greens and, kind of just working the ball around these massive undulating greens.
100%. I think that's very well said. I think the creativity, imagination thing is just turned into buzzwords at this point, but it's true, right? I mean, honestly, what St. Andrews does is there are a lot of different right answers to the problem that they're asking. So you're going to see players do a lot of different things, right? There's certain holes where there's 6 different ways that you can make birdie, right? And some guys are going to hit driver putter. Some guys are going to hit 5-iron, 9-iron. There are a lot of different options that you have to play this golf course. And that's what I think is going to be fun. I think people need to forget about the scoring, because there are going to be birdies. It's too easy of a golf course now for there not to be birdies, right? But what St. Andrews is going to do is it's not going to feel like a birdie fest, right? It's not going to feel like TPC Craig Ranch or TPC Deer Run, where the strategy to birdie is the same for every player. It's going to be really interesting, different golf shots, and players are still going to score, but I think you're going to see them score in a lot different ways. And I also think you're going to see some high score too. I think there are going to be guys that are going to get themselves in some of the bunkers, make some stupid decisions off the tee with driver, hit the ball out of bounds, comes into play on a couple holes, and you're going to see some high scores as well. And I think that's what really is going to make for such an such an exciting week.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's the same way. I'm just super excited. What time do you think you'll be waking up? What's your schedule for Thursday and Friday? I know you have a busy life, working a 9 to 5. So I know it's tough for you to kind of just free up your schedule and kind of do whatever you want. But will you be setting your alarm for 4 or 5 a.m. on Thursday and Friday? What's the deal? What are you doing?
I don't know about 4 or 5 a.m. I think 6 a.m. probably. I really do cherish this form of golf. We only get it once a year, really, at the professional level. So I think I'm going to do my best to soak it all in. I'm playing golf on Saturday morning. That will probably not allow me to watch a lot of the coverage. I'm actually playing golf at a golf course called St. Andrews in Westchester.
Well, all your golfers will be teeing off later, so that will be fine. There's no need There's no need to wake up early on the weekend.
I basically only have 2 golfers, Rory and Dylan Fratelli, but but yeah, no. So I think I'll probably be getting up early. What about you? What's the work schedule this week? I know you're taking off Wednesday because we're playing golf tomorrow. So what's the game plan?
I think I'll just wake up early. I'll probably wake up like 5:30. Got to see like when my guys are playing. I'm not just going to like wake up for nothing, but I think I'll probably wake up 6 a.m., watch. I'm very lucky to live very close to my job. So I could get almost like 3 hours.
Right.
Of,
Shout out Stuff a Bagel.
Content. Yeah. I can almost get I don't work at Stuff a Bagel. I just work near one. I don't want people to mistake this or anything, but yeah. So I think we'll be waking up at 6 a.m. Thursday and Friday, work is a little light this week, but we still got responsibilities. We still got stuff to do. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll be up. We're playing a match tomorrow. Saul Goodman, invited us to his country club. So we'll be out there. We'll be having fun. It's fun potting with you. We've been hanging out so much. It's just it's kind of tough. I'm usually potting with, random people from across the country. So, this is good. This is great.
Yeah, we may even go live from the golf course tomorrow, depending on how the scores end up looking. But yeah, I mean, listen, man, you're the showdown king. So I would imagine that you're going to be working overtime this week with the golf starting so early in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next question I want to ask you is, we've seen it in these majors that this weather plays a massive factor in it, even though the winner of the last 2 majors came from the wrong wave. There seems to be a 1.5 shot advantage. And, in terms of showdown, in terms of first round leader, in terms of picking your guys top 20, it seems to matter. And it always seems to matter even more at the Open Championship, especially at such an exposed course like St. Andrews. What are you seeing currently at the moment at Tuesday night in terms of weather, and if there is going to be an advantage at the moment?
So we've got the super forecast already for Thursday, and I'm seeing pretty moderate winds throughout the day. It doesn't seem like you always want to look at the super forecast and see if there's any spikes at certain windows. And remember, with the Open, all these guys are just going off in succession on the first hole, right? So it's a little harder to decipher, early morning because some are mid morning, some are early afternoon. But no, I'm not seeing much with the weather right now. I want to wait till the super forecast comes out tomorrow. I'm getting up at the crack of dawn tomorrow to write my Rick article because we're playing golf super early in the morning. So quick plug on that. That'll be out earlier than expected. But what I would say about the weather is that even if you don't see anything, and this is something Kobe and I talked about on the podcast, I still understand if you want to stack, right? There's not a giant downside to stacking because you never know. The weather could completely change, and there is the possibility always that we're not seeing something, and then a huge gale force comes in and one end of the draw still gets boned really hard. I mean, Kobe talks about how the days where it was supposed to be really calm turned out to be really windy and vice versa, right? So if you want to stack, I would still say there's some value in doing that, especially if you're playing 150 lineups. Maybe have, 20 in one direction and 20 in the other direction and the other 110 mixed. But no, I'm not seeing a ton right now in terms of a strong specific advantage. Are you?
No, I'm really not. And I think the interesting thing is that, for the Open Championship, I think more than often people want to wait to maybe get their outright bets in to see, if they're in the good wave, quote unquote, or bad wave, even though the last two winners have been out of the bad wave. And I think everyone was waiting to do that for the Open, and there's really nothing out there that could, affect it. So I would say my advice would be that if you like a guy outright, there is no reason based on when they are teeing off on Thursday and Friday to not bet them. I don't really see that this week, but again, it could change. But just in terms of outright betting, like just bet who you like. I don't think there was like this guy's going to get absolutely boned. Do not bet him outright. I don't think that is the case this week as of right now. So the last question I want to ask you before we get into the betting board, and I know this might be kind of a difficult question to answer, but I think you're a pretty smart guy, so you could figure it out, is how many shots does Xander Schauffele win this by?
Wow. I got asked this on San Diego local television this morning, and I expected it out of them, right? That was low-hanging fruit for them. But man, it is so fascinating to see how the temperature of the room has changed on this guy so quickly. I talked about this on my podcast on Sunday, so I'm not going to rant about it anymore. But yeah, I get it with Xander. I think statistically, even if he wasn't coming in, winning all these tournaments, he would be a really good fit at St. Andrews. But you add in the fact that there's all these similarities between Scotty Scheffler and him, and Scotty Scheffler coming into the Masters. And it kind of just feels more so like with some of these guys where once they break through, I know the joke with it now is floodgates, right? But once they break through, there really is something to gaining that confidence and really believing in yourself, right? Like it's something we see with each other when we play golf every day. How much more excited are you for the next round of golf when you're coming off a great round of golf? And Xander's feeling himself right now, rightfully so. From what I've heard, a couple whispers from his camp, he's feeling pretty damn confident. And I think that he is going to be in the mix. I think he is going to lose to another player, but I think that he will be there. I think he'll be relevant in this tournament on Saturday and Sunday.
I love it. And I think you're a little bit of a hypocrite because over the past 3 years, you've done nothing but pump up how talented this guy is and how well equipped his game is to win majors. And now he starts winning on the PGA Tour and people are betting him to win a major and you're poo-pooing it. And you're saying, oh, it's too obvious. Oh, it doesn't work like that. It's not too easy. Well, I'm pretty sure it was pretty easy to pick Scotty at the Masters or Matt Fitzpatrick at the U.S. Open. So I am betting Xander this week. I am hopping on the bandwagon hard body. But I don't think that you should now be like coming back on your Xander takes and be like, oh, it's too obvious because you know how talented this golfer is. And you know how good his major record is, especially his Open Championship record. So
right.
I just have a little bit of beef with you about this whole Xander.
Well, hopefully we can settle it on the golf course tomorrow. Listen, that's fair. I think that's a fair take. I always respect you checking me when when there's a little hypocrisy involved, which listen, I admit with Xander, my guard's up a little bit, right? It's like this all happened 3 years of pain and ineptitude and heartbreak. And then it all just happened so quickly and the floodgates open and suddenly, he's the second favorite to win arguably the most impactful golf tournament of the last decade. And it's like, I'm used to this guy being a punchline. So I like personally, I don't know how to handle it. Right. I have a lot of mixed emotions internally. So a lot of it is me I'm shutting myself off, right? I'm making myself emotionally unavailable in the situation, which is truly a defense mechanism, which is honestly why, I respect you for calling me out on that, because you're right. There is a little bit of, wait a second, wait a second, guys. Like I've been suffering through this with this player for the past 3 years. And now you guys are going to tell me he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So look, I have some skepticism, but I think it's a good bet. What'd you get him at? Book of Jurors?
No, enhanced win on Bet365, 19-1, 200 bones. We're slamming it. You Open Championship 5. But this is the thing about Tapping Birdie. This isn't your normal podcast. Me and Andy just went through a little bit of a therapy session. Andy opened up about his emotions and how he feels, and that's what you get from this tournament. So I think Xander, I just picture him being in it on Sunday, and outright betting, that's all you can ask for. It was in the mix at Carnoustie. And again, everyone's drawing the parallels to Scotty Scheffler, but I just think it is such a similar situation. And I think in terms of betting, it's even similar because now he's at below 20, where you could get him at 30, a couple of weeks ago, and people don't want to bet it. So I would regret if Scotty didn't win the Masters. I don't know if I would be there, but I just think that I can picture him in the top 5 on Sunday. And I think that he fits this course very well. Was great with his wedges at the Travelers, like playing the Scottish last week. Like, I just think the stars are aligning 19-1. I think it's a really good number. So I'll be there. But we have to talk about the actual favorite of this tournament, Rory McIlroy. It has been a literal joke between us the last 4 months, texting back and forth about how I have been firmly on the side that Rory McIlroy unequivocally 100% will not win the Open Championship. And you have been on the exact opposite side. And he is your pick. He is your, main bet of the week, given his odds. So, Andy, I appreciate you holding your ground on this one, because one of our friends is on him and he is boosted on a book that you don't like. So, like, for you to stand firm, you could have easily said, okay, for all these reasons, I'm not betting him. So I applaud you for sticking to your take with Rory McIlroy will win this golf tournament at 10-1. Let's hear the case, Andy.
So I've been saying Rory McIlroy was going to win at St. Andrews since December. Now, a lot of good things happened in between then to make me feel a lot more confident about that. And we also hit some roadblocks as well the week of. I would argue that Rory's playing the best that he has in years, honestly. I mean, statistically, that's an easy case to make. But eye test wise too, it seems like he has a lot of confidence, both anecdotally and in the way that he's playing. I like the perspective is such like a corny thing to say, but I liked what he talked about in the interview with Kyle Porter earlier this week, where to me, it didn't seem like he was putting the usual pressure on himself that he would at a tournament like Royal Portrush, right? It seems like he has a little bit more closure and a little bit more understanding on I'm using all these synonyms for perspective because I don't want to keep saying it, but a little more understanding of how good he is and what he needs to do to win a major. And I believe he's been the only guy in the top 8 of the first 3 majors of the year. He's been really, really close. There's a ton of course fit stuff that I could say as well. He shot 63 here as a 21-year-old, shot an 80 in tough conditions there too, and still ended up finishing 3rd. But I think it makes the most sense to me. And I don't know if the bet is going to win. It's not the best number, but I know that he's going to be there. I know that on Saturday, my bet's not going to be dead. And probably on Sunday, my bet's not going to be dead. And hopefully with 3 or 4 holes to go, my bet's not going to be dead. So I'm all in with Rory. Like I said, there's been some bad juju around him, but I don't think he got like, do you think he's a chalky pick this week? No one's betting him, right? The number's too low.
No, absolutely. No one's betting him this week. I think the number's too short. In terms of DraftKings, I think with the options in the 10K range, I think with the popularity of Jordan Spieth and Xander Schauffele, I think it's very easy to just start your lineups with them. So in terms of ownership and DraftKings, I do not think he will be extremely popular. I think he would probably be around like 18, 17 to 19%.
He's not sneaking up on anyone, but
no, he's definitely not. But again, I applaud you for taking Rory and sticking to it, because it would have been easy to hop off given circumstances. But you're a man of your word, so I really appreciate that. in the 10K range, can't talk about everyone, but the guy I kind of am most interested in terms of having in my DraftKings lineup would be Scotty Scheffler. At $11,000, I think he's definitely the play over Rahm and Thomas. I would definitely play him over Rory. For me,
Rahm sucks.
Rahm, we're not gonna give him any light today because he's not winning.
He doesn't deserve it.
Open. He does not deserve it. Great Sunday at the U.S. Open, bro. But Scotty Scheffler, again, he's had this unbelievable season, but I do think that he is somebody that will contend at Open Championships for years to come. T8 last year at this event, but I think that his wedge game is so strong. And his chipping that we saw at Augusta, his short game prowess is just very elite. And I just think that he will be in it because all he's done this season, other than the PGA Championship, is contend in major championships and even all other events. He's been there. So at $11,000, I'm playing a lot of Xander. I'm playing a lot of Spieth. Like, I'm down for Scotty. So I would say he is my play at the top of the board. He will be the person I will be using in DraftKings. But I think without a doubt, he is a better play than Rahm and JT here. So that's kind of my take in the 10K range. But the next guy, we can't talk about everyone, but the next guy we have to talk about, because anytime we cross over this side of the pond and we get to the Open Championship, Jordan Spieth seems to emerge. He seems to elevate his game. He seems to always be in it. He has one of the most elite Open Championship records of really anybody in the field since 2015. He's gone T4, T30, win, T9, T20, and second. I'm betting him outright. I got a 17-1 on him. You could get a little bit better. He is just someone I envision being there on Sunday and being in it all weekend. You pointed this out, and I think that it's very noted. But he is the only guy that played this event in 2015, and he was one shot out of a playoff. He was having one of the best golf seasons of his life, granted. But I just think, regardless of form, you play Jordan Spieth at the Open, because this is an event that you see not the most consistent results. It's not like somebody at the Masters every year. You see a lot of missed cuts mixed in between great finishes, and Jordan Spieth really does not have that. So Jordan Spieth, 17-1, betting him outright, highest owned golfer on the slate. I don't care. He'll be in a lot of my DraftKings lineups, top 10, top 20. Play Jordan Spieth this week. I just think it's a no-brainer.
I agree with you. What I said about Rory, in the sense that it's very difficult for me to envision a scenario where Rory isn't relevant in the tournament, Spieth would be 1B to that. Like, it's very hard for me to sit here. I could see Scotty missing the cut. Rahm's going to finish T34. I could see Morikawa missing the cut. I could even see JT missing the cut. It's very hard for me to envision Spieth not hanging around, right, and not being relevant in this tournament over the weekend. The question is, can he make enough short putts down the stretch to win? Yeah. I didn't really love what I saw putting wise on these slower greens at the Scottish Open. I know he's had a lot of success putting on length greens before, but as you've seen with me, Brian, when you're on slower greens and you don't have a ton of confidence with your putter, sometimes that can actually exacerbate things, because you're having to actually take a bigger stroke and you're having to engage your body a little bit more. So I have some concerns with Spieth and the putter, but we're picking nits here, man. I think it is. I'm not going to poo-poo over your Spieth bet. Who are you more confident in, Spieth or Xander, of those two guys that you bet?
Xander.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I do, because I don't see... Jordan Spieth missed. Let's not forget that Jordan Spieth missed the cut at Augusta National earlier this year. So I just don't see that from Xander. He did not have a great Masters by any means, but he's kind of turned it around a little bit. But yeah, those are my two bets at the top. I just, at the end of the day, we've talked about this before. You want to bet the guys that you could just see being there on Sunday. I'm betting safe plays. I'm betting popular plays, but I don't care, because there's no one else I have that much confidence in to be at the top. So in terms of DraftKings, I know your article will come out tomorrow. You should absolutely sign up for Rick Run Good, not just for Andy's articles, but for all the great information they put out there. Who are you playing at the top? I know you're playing a lot of Rory. Like, do you have room for anybody else? Like, do you have a hashtag leverage play? Like, what are you kind of doing at the top of the board this week in terms of DraftKings?
Rory's probably going to be in about like 70 or 80% of my DraftKings lineups. I'm going pretty heavy on Rory, but here's the thing. I don't play guys at high ownership very often. So when I do, I'm going to play a lot of that guy. So Rory, I'm going to be cool. Yeah, pretty close to 100% on Rory. And then my main single entry lineup is Rory DJ. And it's Rory, DJ, and Cantlay are the three guys that I love above 9K. So we'll preview for the article tomorrow where I'll go a little more in depth on my Cantlay love. But no, those were the guys that stood out to me the most above 9K. What's your temperature on Cantlay? I know you're kind of hot and cold on him.
I think that he was kind of the butt of a lot of jokes come PGA Championship. I think he beat like 4 PGA pros, which was, pretty funny. But he turned it around, and he had that top 20 finish at the U.S. Open last week. He played well. We
talked about, Brian, didn't we say Cantlay at the Scottish Open is the easiest DraftKings play of all time. He is significantly underowned because of that final round at the Travelers. And what do you know? Top 5.
Like, have you ever heard of leverage? Like,
hashtag
have you
leverage,
ever heard
bro.
of a bounce back spot? Like, that is Cantlay. But, the last 2 times we've seen him, he's played really well. Other than Sunday at the Travelers, he played well at the Scottish last week. We're talking about preview pods. You've talked about it a bunch. I did a preview pod with Capper and Steve at the beginning of the year in like December, and we all picked Patrick Cantlay for the Open. Now, this was on the back end of that crazy run he went on, but I think it's a good play. I think I might have to fit him into my player pool. Again, I don't think that he's a guy that is just going to be horrible in majors forever. I think he's a very well-rounded player. I don't think people are going to be jumping to play him given how popular Spieth and Xander are. So, yeah, sure. Hashtag leverage. Like, I'm playing a lot of Jordy and Xander. So, like, mixing like a 14%, Patrick Cantlay. I think it's a good play. I really do. I have no problems with it. I think he's a decent play. So, do you have 2 guys that are just kind of an easy cross off for me, and we don't have to spend a bunch of time on them. But Lowry and Fitz, not so much Lowry, but I'm just kind of out on Fitz. I know he's playing some really great golf right now, but I'm just good on Fitz. Give me a little bit more difficult conditions for Fitzy. Lowry, he's played well at the Dunhill Links. He's talking
about your boy. Have you broken up with him?
Yeah, but I've been in too much. Like, yeah, I think I'm kind of done. His number's super short. I think these Euro guys like just get slash and F just because like the European. But I'm out on those 2. I really have no problem missing either Lowry or Fitz.
Yeah. That's fair. I think I probably like both of them a little bit more than you do, but you can't play all these guys. So I agree with you. I think there are a lot of guys like Lowry and Fleetwood fits into this category as well, where you kind of just feel like you're priced out of them a little bit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So I'm making 3 outright bets. My official card, hashtag units, like, what I'm putting out, what I will tout, come Sunday. My third guy. Now, I want to preface something. Mm-hmm. I invented Cam Smith at the Open. I invented him at the Open. Check the time stamp. It was like April 10th. I was like, yo, Cam Smith at the Open Championship makes all the sense in the world. I tweeted it out. I put $100 on it at like 25 to 1. I was like, got wide open fairways. You got a lot of wedges. You're going to have to make a lot of birdies. Like, that is Cam Smith to me. Turns out other people realized this. I did not, create something crazy, but he's the most tipped golfer this week, which I always care about. But I just want to say that I was first on Cam Smith at the Open. I kind of invented him, as I said. So everyone's betting him. That's fine. We're all going to celebrate together when he wins, but I was first. So, it's fine. But He does not. I think the biggest knock you could have on him is that he does not have the open record that we usually see out of champions of this event. Almost everybody but Jordan Spieth and Colin Morikawa have a top 10 at the Open before they win. However, I really don't care. I think something that maybe is a little bit overlooked is that Cam Smith was T9 going into the final round last year at the Open. He was playing really well. He was in contention, not to win, but, to post a high finish that people could look back on. He shot a Sunday 74 and finished T33. So I think the results might be a little misleading, but for the same reasons I've talked about, I think this is an absolutely perfect spot for him. He is first in proximity from 100 to 125 yards. It doesn't matter what you think. He is one of the best wedge players on tour. And he putted excellent last week on, similar greens, European greens, slow rye greens. And with the wide fairways, with the Masters, with the Kapalua comp, it makes a lot of sense. 28-1. He's my official pick to win this tournament. I'm surprised. I know you're not betting him outright, but I think you feel pretty good about Cam this week. You're not against it at all, right?
Not anti-Cam at all. In fact, just to speak as well to you you're going to have to start copywriting some of these picks pretty quickly, BK. It's the blessing and the curse of your hashtag influence in this hashtag industry these days. I understand it completely. Once the freight train gets going, it doesn't stop. And you have all these, your DMs are flooded with live questions and people telling your picks. I know how it goes, man. It's a tough way to live. Yeah. But I will say about Cam Smith, he couldn't fit on my betting card because not many guys can when you bet Rory McIlroy at 11-1. But
if you're some guys, you can just bet whoever.
Yeah, you bet them
you
all.
Want.
Yeah, you just bet them all. Bet them all. If you're underexposed for the year, you could bet them all this week, and then it'll all even out. No, but one of the big bets that I did place this week was Cam Smith -110 over Will Zalatoris in a matchup. I dislike Zalatoris strongly this week. I think he's going to miss the cut. And I think Cam Smith I think he's going to play well. I'm not going to play him in DraftKings. I think I talked about this with Kobe, but I had my sneaky bold take was that Cam Smith would be the highest owned player on the slate and come in higher than Xander, because I think Xander is the guy that everyone thinks is super chalky, and Cam Smith is the guy that everybody likes just as much, but doesn't have the label as the super obvious guy the way that Xander does. So I'm not going to be there in DraftKings, but I have a massive bet on him to beat Zalatoris in a matchup. So I'm with you. I think he's going to have a good week.
I love it. I really would want nothing more. It's the biggest bet I've ever placed in my life at those odds. So I would hope he would win, but I think this is a great segue. I want to be with you that Zalatoris will miss the cut this week. I think it makes a lot of sense. I really do. Again, you've talked about you want him on long, difficult golf courses where the winning score is -5 because he just puts everything to 15 feet. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and he's such an elite iron player, with his 5, 6, 7, 8 iron, that he is just in contention. And I firmly believe he will not win this Open. His best chances to win a major championship are going to be at the PGA US Open and Masters. 100%, I'm with you. However, I do believe that there is something different about Will Zalatoris in major championships. And we were talking about it before. I think even though it's not a good course fit, I think that, just look at his major record from now. I just think that he treats these events so differently, and his results show that. So I think he is someone, even though he's a bad course fit, I do not think he will miss the cut. I think he will be somewhat in contention, not as much as the last two majors, but he's talked about it. You've, talked about his putting, at the majors. I just think he is a different animal at this event. So I like that bet, but I would not take it because I am not as, against Willie Z this week as you.
Well, we have to do some form of head-to-head right? By the way,
I'm done losing money to you.
I was going to say I'm
like,
still waiting for my 50 for Hatton over Mitchell. By the way, but
I thought you forgot about that. God,
no, I didn't. Well, I literally forgot about it until just now. I've seen you like 3 times since then, and we've talked every day.
I should have had you on the pod.
So you don't want to do any head to head?
No, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Because anytime there's like someone you like, and I'm like, that is such a bad pick. Other than like Mav McNeely, like they're usually like kind of a good pick. So that's kind of tough.
Because I'll do Lowry or Cantlay against Zalatoris if you want.
No, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I'm not. But sell me on DJ. You've been banging this DJ at the Open Drum for a while now. Hashtag leverage, like he's a live guy. But again, I think in a similar way where Rory is super popular this week for his elite driving and his, first round prowess at this event, I think DJ makes a lot of sense here. And, he's had some success at Open Championships before. He played in 2010 and 2015. Most people cannot say that. So DJ is your play this week. I know you can't bet him outright, but he would have been right there if you didn't bet old Roster.
Oh yeah. If I didn't bet Rory, DJ would have been my biggest bet of the week. Listen, I just think that DJ is a guy that I think is going to continue to contend in major championships. I have my doubts about a lot of the LIV players. I'm not ready to give up on DJ. I'm more bullish on DJ winning a major going forward than I am on Brooks or Louis or pretty much any of the other LIV guys. Not that I have dug a ton into the LIV statistics or even really watched it, if I'm being honest with you. But he finished well there, right? And I think he finished well in both of the events. And I think I don't think that the LIV guys are like, now it's become, the LIV guys are under-owned. The LIV guys are under-owned. Like, okay, dude, if you're playing Louis, like you're not being sneaky. And like DJ is kind of the same way. Like DJ's not going to be 3% the way that Bryson or Brooks are. I think there are a lot of smart people out there that like DJ as well. I've actually seen him on a couple betting cards. But I just think this is a pretty good spot for him. It's a pretty good price tag on DK. It's a pretty good price in the betting market as well. I'm kind of kicking myself I didn't take the 50-1. But he does a lot of the things that I'm looking for on a golf course like St. Andrews. So I think he'll be in the mix. I really do believe that. I think one of the LIV guys will contend. And like, if you had to give me, if there was market top LIV, who would you take? I know DJ's the favorite, but do you feel, are you playing any of them, or do you feel strongly about any of them?
I think it's kind of hard not to play Louis other than the fact that he is 8.8.
Yeah.
I think that, no one like that can actually win this tournament. Tiger Woods can't win this tournament. Like, is like has better course history than Louis Oosthuizen, and his win in 2012, 2010 by like 7 shots. He was in the playoff in 2015, and he hasn't just been playing well on LIV. Top 10 at the Irish Open just 3 weeks ago. Like, I think 88, I think it's a tough number. Again, it's not sneaking up on anyone. Like, it's not going to win this tournament, like 0 shot. But I think it's hard, like, really not to play him. If 2010 was an anomaly, like, he backed it up in 2015 when he was a completely different golfer. Like, so I think Louis is a play this week. It's very squeamish. And I don't play DFS like you. Like, it's very hard for me to play Louis because I very much can envision him missing the cut like he did at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I played him there.
Like, he's a squeamish play for me, but I think it's kind of worth it just given his course history. And, we're talking about a guy who had a chance to win 3 majors last year. Obviously, he did not, but he could have. So he's not that far removed from it. So Louis is kind of a play for me. I'm guessing Neiman is going to be in your player pool, might be a core play for you, Andy Lack. Is he a set piece? at 8K flat. I think that's a pretty good price on it.
Yeah, he might be. The ownership's creeping up a little bit higher than I would like. I think what helps is that he's next to Homa, and Homa's going to be mega chalk. But I still think Neiman's going to garner his fair share of ownership. I always like Neiman. Neiman's just one of those guys. I think, you feel this way about Zalatoris. I kind of feel this way about Zalatoris too. I just haven't really been ever on him. But Neiman's one of those guys where I'm just really high on the talent long term. And so I'm going to continue to play him. And I always think that he's pretty reasonably priced in the market. Again, he's not a guy that I bet this week, but like I was talking to Steve last night who got like a rogue 70-1 on him. Like that's a crazy number. So yeah, I think Neiman is going to be in the mix. I think the only concern is, he hasn't really had a ton of success in majors before. He's started to make the cut in majors more, but he hasn't really popped. So hopefully that starts this week.
So one guy you are betting at 50-1, Open Championship specialist, playing some exquisite golf, should have won the Canadian Open if it wasn't for this guy named Rory McIlroy, is Tony Finau. So he's your second outright. I'm sure he's going to be popular, DK. Are you a little worried about that? But give me the reason why he was your guy at 50-1 to bet. There was only so many people you could bet, and Tony Finau was one of them.
Yeah, Big Papa Tone. I thought it was a good number on Finau. I have always liked this course for Finau. He was one of the guys that we talked about in the December preview. He's been playing great golf, and the ball striking has been there. Yeah, he's had a couple like really, really high-end ball striking performances, whether it be in Mexico or at the Travelers or at the Canadian Open, as you mentioned. He seems to be percolating at the right time. And I do think that he's talked before about how he really enjoys links golf. And his Open track record backs it up. And this is a guy that, again, is in the mix in the majors. So again, like with Rory, I don't know if Finau's going to win, but I'm pretty confident that he's going to be relevant in this tournament over the weekend, which is all you can ask for.
I really like a top 20 on him, plus 200. Yeah. Really good
I'm there
play.
Too.
But yeah, over the past 24 rounds, 5th in ball striking, 2nd in tee to green, like 7th in around the green. Like he's just doing a lot of things really well right now. I know he had a little bit of lull earlier in the season after that unbelievable Northern Trust victory that we should have been there for, even though he never would have won that event if it was on Sunday. But, that's a whole nother discussion that needs to be had. He's going to be like pretty chalk. Like, I mean,
18-ish%. Yeah. He's going to be he's going to be the highest owned guy under 9,000. Him and Homer.
Okay. I'm with you there. Are you going to play him?
I haven't made a judgment call yet, but I'll tell you this. I'm only going to play one of Finau, Fleetwood and Homa. I'm not going to play all three of them. I'm only going to play one.
I don't care about
I'd agree with you. I know you don't care about ownership.
Do not try and get cute. Like, do not try and get cute.
Like, what was the stat? How many of the
6 of the top 10 highest owned golfers at the 2021 Open Championship finished with inside the top 10. So you want to take your fucking leverage, stick it up your ass. It doesn't mean shit, okay? So I'm done. I'm done. If you want to play a shitty play, like if you want to play a shitty play just because he's half the ownership of somebody, like do it. Like just do it. We are so opposite in that, Andy. Like that is where we disagree the most. Is I'm never like, yo, this guy's like 10%. Like just jam him in, even though I think he sucks.
Can I ask you a question? Just to play devil's advocate. If you gave me, would you give me 6-1 odds on Brooks Koepka to outperform Finau this week? If it was.
Honestly, like there is zero doubt in my mind that Tony Finau will beat Brooks Koepka.
Okay, so can I ask you, if Brooks beats Finau, you give me 60, and if Finau beats Brooks, I give you 10. Would you do that?
Like, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Like I'm pretty like confident in that. And like the ownership doesn't matter when Brooks misses the cut and Tony Finau finishes T11. It just doesn't.
That's true.
It just does not. It's fine.
True.
It's okay.
I'm done. We're done. We're done. It's over. We're done.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm
We're
done.
on to the 7K range. I like Seamus Power.
Of course you
Again,
do.
I think it will be a little bit popular. I don't know where your ownership projections are at.
10 or
for
11.
him, but what?
10 or 11.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every single lineup for Seamus Power. He's had an unbelievable major record this year. T27 at the Masters, T9 at the PGA, T12 at the US Open. That is a better major record than some elites can even say. So he's someone that is showing up for the big events. Is not in the most unbelievable of form, but I think that he has the upside for a top 20 finish. He seems to come out for these super big events. It's fucking Open Championship. Like, that should obviously help him. No one can forget that performance for those first 2 days at Pebble Beach. It was just truly unbelievable. Great wedge player. Pebble Beach comp to St. Andrews. Like, here we go. So Seamus Power, he's a core player for me. He'll be in a lot of lineups for me, but I know your 7K play that you like might be a core play. Little prediction for me. I know some betting odds going out about who your core plays will be, but I think that guy will be Patrick Reed for you, another Leaf player with a stellar short game master champion, Kapalua champion. Patrick Reed, $7,300.
Yeah,
I love
Patrick Reed. Yeah, no, the Liv guys there's been some speculation on whether I'm on Liv's budget. No, I love Patrick Reed this week. He has a sneaky good Open record. Obviously, there's the Kapalua connection that I made. There's the Augusta connection that I made. He's been contending in Liv for what it's worth. I talked
really
about
high greens and regulation percentage, if anyone was wondering.
I talked about this with Kobe on the podcast, but I think that Reed is like he was fist pumping in that Liv tournament. Like, I don't think he's like in on the joke.
Strokes game fist pumping.
Yeah, like I don't think he gets that it's not really competitive. I think he's here to win. And I think not that any of the other guys aren't, but I think that he has a little bit of a different mindset with his golf career and the decision. I think all of them are making decisions for different reasons. And I think a guy like Bryson and Reed that maybe lack a little bit of the self-awareness are still feeling like they're at a point where they're competing at the highest level. And I think that he is going to hang around in this Open Championship. I think that he does a lot of things well that I like here in terms of his scrambling ability and lag putting. So I like Reed a lot. I think he'll be around this weekend. I think he'll be in the mix.
Officially telling you on that one, Andy.
Really?
Yep. Okay. Telling you he's in the player pool, $7,300. Very, digestible price. Maybe a little bit of leverage if I'm playing some chalk guys. So yeah, I'm with you on Reed. 7K flat, sneaky good major record. Aaron Wise play for me. Like easy play for me. I think it's a little bit of a, Mito at the PGA. You take a young, talented ball striker at a very cheap price. I think that's kind of it with Aaron Wise. I can't pull up his Wikipedia page right now, but 27th at the US Open. He just look at his major record. It's good. Like, he makes a cut of majors. He's not someone I'm worried about him shooting like 5 over on Thursday. I think, he's just an elite talent, plays well on the coast. Give me him at 7K flat. So we're moving, do you have any other 7K plays that you really like? I know we don't want to pump ownership too much given the influence of this pod, but before we get into the sixes, before we get into the nuts play, which we haven't even talked about, but I just cannot wait to ask you about it. But is there anyone else in the 7K range that you will be playing that you think is a good course fit that could be a good play here?
Yeah, I don't want to give them all away, but I like Sahith a lot. Mito's priced where he should be in the low 7s. I like Mito. I like Bezadenhout, and that's enough. I like those guys. Yeah. Boom. Let's do the 6s.
So the 6s, this has been, again, inside joke with the group chat, with you and me. for a while. I think you turned a lot of heads in your major preview pod with Steve Nagels, where we talked about the Open Championship.
Jeff is his
Nagels.
first name.
My bad on
Shots
that one.
fired.
I know he's watching.
Absolute drive-by. No, I think we're safe on that one.
Yeah, I think we're good. At the 58-minute mark, I think we're good on that. But, we talk about the Open Championship, like one of the most consequential, like majors, like, you could give out anyone. And you talked about Dylan Fratelli at the Open Championship. T4 last year, I remember that vividly because I had a Brooks T5 ticket, ripped my heart out. Dylan Fratelli, is he the nuts play?
Dylan Fratelli is going to win some people a lot of money this week. I bet him 300 to 1. I am Kobe's en route to Vegas tomorrow. He said that Circa is hanging like a 355. So I'm going to double down on it. I texted everybody in the group chat to put $5. Okay, cool.
I threw 10 on it.
Good. Yeah. So listen, here's the thing with Fratelli. Well, there's not much, but he finished top 5 at the Open last year. He's finished top 5 at the Masters. Augusta comp, ever heard of it? Ball striking form at the Scottish, gained 5.8 ball striking. Gave 6 back with the putter, but who's counting? What that keeps the ownership low and the buzz low. And I think he could finish top 20. So I bet him top 40. Big on him in DraftKings, and I've got the outright too. So big Fratelli guy.
I don't want to mush anything. I'm telling you on Fratelli. He's unmushable. In the player pool. Like, it's fine. My favorite 6K play is, we've kind of gone back and forth on him, but I really like him, and he's done nothing but win me money. So he's easily the most talented player in the 6K range. Keith Mitchell, he will win one of the Rocket Mortgage.
Did you know his sister went to St. Andrews?
Yeah. Wait, so his dad is on the RNA? Like, how you have, like, that's like getting into like Shinnecock or something. Like, they don't just hand out invitations into the RNA. Like, what's his dad's deal?
That's a good question. I haven't done a deep dive on Mr. Mitchell. I am pretty up to date on Mr. Zalatoris and Mr. McNeely, but I haven't done a deep dive on Mr. Mitchell. But no, that's a tough invite to get. If you're in the RNA, that is, you're in that Pine Valley, Shinnecock territory of that's a tough invite to get to.
But yeah, Keith Mitchell is absolutely the play this week. Bomber, great putter, just playing some really great golf. 2 straight top 10s, made the cut last week. Has a big connection to St. Andrews, 7th in putting, 12th in off the tee, 17th in short game. Like, he is the most talented player in the 6K range. Not even a question. I'll be playing a lot of Keith Mitchell. Top 20, top 40. Easy play for me. Love him. Going to keep riding him until he wins. We'll have to talk as to what you think is a better course fit, Rocket Mortgage or 3M, but he's winning one of those two. There was some chatter on Twitter. And you typed out, I could quote you on this, that Zach Johnson was the nuts play this week. Now, I think you're a pretty sharp guy. I think you're a pretty smart guy. Like, is there anything more than the fact that he won this event in 2015? Because I was trying to find that information and I fell short. So it can't just be that he won here in 2015. That Zach Johnson's the nuts play.
No, it's not just that he won in 2015. If you actually go back and look at Zach Johnson's, okay, I'm going to pull it up. I've got it right here. Zach Johnson, he's played in 16 Open Championships. He's made the cut 12 times. He's got 8 top 25s. Not only did he win 3 top 10s, by the way, in a win. Not only did he win St. Andrews in 2015, T16 in 2011, T9 in 2012, T6 in 2013, T12 in 2016, T14 in 2017, T17 in 2018. Basically, over the last 2 decades, BK, he's finished top 25 in 50% of the Opens that he's played in. And I really genuinely believe that St. Andrews is the type of course. Who was at the top of the leaderboard on Friday at the Masters? Danny Willett and Carl Schwartzel, right? St. Andrews is in the top 1% in terms of nuance, right? It is the type of course that rewards experience there. It is kind to the same people over and over and over again. That's why, I wouldn't be shocked if, Tiger played well this week too. But ZJ is not cooked. We're talking top 25s at Colonial. We're talking top 25s at the Amex. We're talking top 25s at Valero. And he is automatic at these Open Championships, a top 25 machine. So I believe that Zach Johnson plus 420, top 40. Listen, the mega whale play mortgage is like, that's your thing, but I would like to submit that play to the mega whale play mortgage.
What is he
committee.
to like make the cut? Like usually we're not.
He'll finish top 40. Top 40 is like 5-1 on ZJ.
That's pretty crazy.
Not bad.
You're not usually ripping 5-1 top 40s on the Andy Lack outright betting card.
Don't get me started on Kita Nakajima either. We don't have time for that.
But yeah, I mean, look, if you've listened to 164 minutes of this podcast, I'm glad you got the Zach Johnson explanation, because to me, I'm pretty sold on it. Again, I feel fine about tailing a lot of your picks, but it's so niche that I don't want to mush Zach Johnson this week. Like,
I don't think you're a mush, BK. Okay, me and Brian, just for the listeners, we got in a little bit of an argument on Sunday because BK was saying on the second hole, look how good Xander is. Xander's playing great. And I was like, relax, chill. And even our boy Jers popped in and was like, BK, it seems like you're trying to mush Xander a little bit. And to your credit, you stopped talking about Xander, and Xander went on to win. And after I told you, I gave you credit, and I said, listen, you not a mush, Xander wins. So I believe in your abilities. I know you're not mushing my Zach Johnsons and my Fratellis. I want you on board. I want you on board.
That's fine. Like, whatever. Like, the Xander thing, like, I was a little upset. Like, I got over it. Like, it's fine. Like, whatever. But yeah, look, Xander, he's going to be in the mix this week with Rory. We're going to have a guy in the mix, whether it's Fratelli or Cam Smith. Like, it will just happen. So it was a movie pod, feature film, roll the credits, directed by PTA. Just a movie TIB tonight. And it's been too long since you've been on. So, always a pleasure. I'll be picking you up from the train station tomorrow. I just want, if you're listening right now, like, I just want you to know that Andy Lack on public courses, like, let's just, put a little caveat there. Actually, no, because Steve's course was private, is legitimately Luke List. Like, it's like a joke. Like, everything like 310 middle of the fairway, or like his 2-irons like 280 middle of the fairway, like hit every green to like 15 feet and just like automatic 3-putt, like automatic 3-putt. And it's like jarring. It's like legitimately jarring to watch. And like Andy and I, it gives me strokes, like we wager, like if he putts, like if I putt for Andy, like I'm a pretty good putter, like in the 60s, like
I know,
in the 60s, is it going to change for you tomorrow, Andy? Because it needs to. I don't want it to, like, if we're like betting, but like the ball striking is unbelievable.
So I'm a really streaky putter, and it gets mental for me sometimes. Like, you'll see there were a couple putts on the back nine at Bethpage where I was walking after the putt 2 minutes after, or I'm slamming an uphill putt from 50 feet, like 8 feet by. No, I will say this. I'm a lot better on fast greens. That's where I'm more comfortable, is on fast greens. So I'm hopeful from what Saul has told us that the greens tomorrow are pretty spicy, and I will be able to listen. Like, tomorrow, I'm getting the train. I'm waking up super early to write the rec article. The train gets in at 9:04. We'll probably get to the course at 9:15. And like, that should give me I want to hit a few balls, but the majority of the time I'm going to spend on the putting green. And I hope that I can get my confidence back, because I know it's tilting watching me.
Yeah. It's like just cozy it up there. Like, just tap it in. Like, it's not like, I'm not gonna, I'm a pretty good putter. Like,
you're a really good putter. I would say you're a really good putter.
Like, so I'm like a Denny McCarthy. Like, if we could just like kind of map, that's why we're like such an elite. Like, don't even get me started on like best ball or script. Like, we're gonna
murder those guys.
It doesn't matter. But Do you want a bagel? Like, are you gonna eat? Like, do you want me to bring you a bagel? Like, what's
no,
up?
no, no,
Okay,
no,
you're good?
no, 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 no. You
But,
don't have to do that. You don't have
all
to
right,
do that. I'll eat because I'll be up. I'm gonna be up at like 6 writing the article, so
dude,
I'll have eaten. But yeah,
hardest worker in the industry. It's tough being Andy.
sometimes
He's got a tough work life. It's tough. I'm just from experience, it's tough. But I really appreciate everyone who checked this out. Absolute Movie Pod. Check the replay. We gave out a lot of great picks, a lot of great information, a lot of great banter. Appreciative of all our fans, of course. It's great. So, Andy, you're putting out so much great content this week. So why don't you take a second to give some of that out to the listener that I'm sure is aware of it, but let's hear it.
Sure. I've already done a ton of stuff this week. You can find pretty much everything on my Twitter page. The one final plug I'll give is there's a podcast that I did with Kobe Dubose. We recorded it a few hours before you and I went hot. It should be up at some point this evening, maybe first thing in the morning. It's a good podcast. We're proud of that one. So we go through the entire DraftKings slate from top to bottom. Kobe was just at St. Andrews a month ago. So if you have time tomorrow, I know it's been a long week. You probably already consumed a lot of my stuff, but I would make time for that one if you can. And BK, thanks again for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure. I cannot wait to play golf with you and Saul tomorrow, and keep the banter going. You are so in my head these days with this. Last thing that I'll say is that BK has like mastered he knows the perfect way to needle you, like at just the right time. Like your nice on was the fucking zinger of the entire round.
Well, I mean, that was just like such a layup. Like,
I know.
that was just like that. What, I don't think I'm like a good shit talker, but like I'm out of the match at that point. Like, you're there on Eagle, like Andy has a great short game. Like, you expect to put it into 2 feet and it like just trickles on. Like, you say nice on to like a guy on their 4th round of golf, like hitting a chip. So when you said "fuck you, dude," I was like, did I like cross a line there? Like, you're just like, "Fuck you, dude." I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but Saul gave me like the okay. We laughed about it after. So I'm just glad there's no beef. Hashtag no beef. Like, we
hashtag no beef.
Hashtag no beef. Like, we're good. So I'll see you tomorrow. I appreciate everyone who checked it out. Have a great night.
Buddy.
Check out all Andy's info, and I hope everyone has a great night.